Bwana Yesu asifiwe. My name is Lucy Mwendo and this is JCC TV, the station that brings you the uncompromised gospel. And this is the voice of healing. Yes, the voice of healing. We go through a lot of things in life. We go through ups, we go through downs, and we go through very, very many things that maybe we don't talk about and others that we talk about, but we are here to listen to you. We are here to talk to you. We are here to talk about emerging issues and walk with you through your journey of healing. You can talk to us on our social media platforms at JCC TV. I am at Lucy Flora Mwendwa. Do you have any question about life? Do you have any question about mental health? Do you have any question about anything spiritual, anything physical? We are here. We got you to answer those questions. And I am joined by two amazing ladies that are going to introduce themselves. But we have been talking about rape. Yes, a topic that is considered taboo in some areas, but we are here to face it head on because it is an issue that needs to be addressed. Now, about 300, the statistics when it comes to rape are not as available as they should be. They are a bit scanty, but it is reported that 300 cases of rape are reported every week, and that is an alarming number. That's an alarming rate, and this is something that needs to be curbed, and this is something that needs to be talked about, and healing brought to those that have gone through it, and prevention brought to those that have not gone through it. So I will let my guests introduce themselves and what they do.
My name is Faith Muna. I am the coordinator for the Wilfred Lai Foundation, and most of the time I handle the youth and issues about the youth. And I thank God because through the knowledge of the Word of God, we are able to tackle so many situations, and through the Word of God, we are able to bring so many healing.
Sure.
Yes.
My name is Wilfred Lai. I'm a counseling psychologist. I work with a different organizations on a consultancy level. Like for example, I work with FIDA Kenya since 2013 to date. I'm also a coordinator of programs of International Race and Center, among other things. Yes.
We have been talking about rape.
Yes.
And just to recap before we go to what we are talking about today, what is it about rape?
Generally, when we are talking about rape, rape is an unconsensual penetration obtained by force or through threat. Generally, when we are talking about rape, it means stealing something. It's a word that comes from a Latin, and it means stealing something from someone. You are taking something from someone without their consent. Yeah. And rape generally comes with a lot of issues because most of the time, someone feels like they don't deserve to live, and most of the time they blame themselves. They feel like they were partakers or they entertained the rape to take place, which is not true. The rapists are the ones who are responsible for what they did, but not the victim. They are just victims of the circumstances. Yes.
I can say rape is more about the abuse of power
Yes.
than about sexual attraction or the desire for sexual gratification.
Yes.
Power. Anyone?
Yeah, generally, when something has been taken from you without the consent, especially like when you are being raped, you've not been consulted. Something when has been taken from you, you feel like you are powerless, you are useless, you could not protect yourself from this. So it is that power that belongs to you. You have a right to protect yourself. You have a right to consent. But now, someone just comes from nowhere and it takes that away. Through coercion, maybe they have forced you, they have told you that they are going to beat you, or they are taking advantage because they are in power. For example, maybe I'm your boss. I'm telling you, if I don't sleep with you, I am going to sack you. So you feel like your power has been taken away or you are being taken advantage of. Yes.
Okay, we also went through the types of rape, if we can go through them. We have date rape.
Yes.
We have acquaintance rape that can occur between two people who know one another, usually in social situations. We
Yes.
have gang rape. which is very, very rampant nowadays. We have spousal rape, we have rape of children, statutory rape, we have prison rape, we have war rape, and we have rape by deception, we have corrective rape. And you know, these are just mind-blowing. These are just inhumane situations. Why? What makes someone a rapist?
Generally, before maybe we emphasize about the types of rapes first. So like a date rape.
Yeah.
You have gone with someone to a date. You are not going there to be raped, but someone has something in their mind which you are not aware of. So generally, like when we are talking about a date rape, it is done by someone you trust, someone maybe you've been friends with, someone you expect them to protect you. So you've gone to a date maybe just to have fun, or maybe it's a birthday, or you just wanted to catch up. And then they just steal from you from nowhere. They take advantage of your relationship. And that one is not really something you are expecting from them. And it brings a lot of trauma to the person that has been raped. And then generally, there are a lot of issues that happen. Also, like the gang rape. You have just been, people have just come, maybe they have kidnapped you, or they have stolen things from you, physical things. Then after that, they rape you, like 5 people, or even 2, 3, 4. That is also something that is not to be expected. Then we have spouse rape. In Africa, generally, spouse rape is not taken much serious. But even if we are married, we should consent. It is two-way traffic. You should not force me to sleep with you because you are entitled, because you are married to me. So sometimes it can cause a lot of pain and a lot of mistrust. And you feel like you don't deserve. And in that relationship, it is like you are being taken like the third party, or you are being taken like a sex object. And that one is also can also bring a lot of issues. Then we have the rape of a child. There are some people, we say they have dysfunctional issues. They get satisfied when they sleep with children. And sometimes it may be, some people, they may sleep with children because they feel they are a weaker vessel, or maybe they are not in a position to protect themselves. Then we have prison rape, as you had mentioned. You may be taken to prison because maybe of a certain issue, maybe of crime you did. And then when you are there, you are raped by the other people who are within there. And you are not going there to be raped. Or maybe even you have been kept to remand waiting for the judgment. Then you get raped. People also use rape as a weapon of war. Like for example, if countries are fighting, they may come and just rape you, and most of the time they rape children and the women, and they are raping them to make sure that the men feel like they are weak, or it is a weapon of war. They are destroying them. It is a way of making them feel that we have conquered you, you can do nothing apart from that. Yes.
Okay. We also have causes of rape. If you did not catch our previous episodes, you can catch them on YouTube at JCC TV. We went through all this in depth, and we're just doing a recap so that we may continue and wind up from where we left. We have anger rapists, and the aim of this rapist is to humiliate, debase and hurt their victim. We have power rapists. For these rapists, rape becomes a way to compensate for their underlying feeling of inadequacy and feeds their issues of mastery, control, strength, authority and capability.
For example, if you have been raped, most of the time, when it comes to sexual issues, the way sex has been introduced to you, it is the way you will do. Most of the time. Like for example, if you are raped, you will find yourself raping others, because that is how sex was introduced to you. So those are psychological issues. And others are also having issues in their mind, their mental issues.
So we have peer and family factors, that is elderly, childhood environment. We have family honor and sexual purity. We have societal factors such as poverty, physical and social environments, law and politics, and so much more. We have the effects of sexual abuse. We have post-traumatic stress disorder, we have substance abuse, we have self-harm, depression, sexually transmitted infections, pregnancy, flashbacks, borderline personality disorder, adult survivors of childhood sexual assault, sleep disorders. There's so much more, and we have talked about them. Now, we've also talked about prevention of rape.
So generally, when we are talking about prevention of rape, we say you are supposed to be aware of your surroundings, because most of the time, if you are not aware of your surrounding, it is very easy for you to be taken advantage of. Then don't go to places you know are considered to be risk alone, or rough places alone. Then also you are supposed also to take self-defense. For example, you should know how you are supposed to protect yourself in case, like for example, if a man wants to rape you, if you hit them on their private part, even if they are strong, you would have prevented yourself, because most of the time when you do like that, they don't have that strength and they cannot withstand the pain that comes with that. Then you are supposed also to have self-control of control at parties. Don't just be there. Like for example, if you have gone to a party, you are not supposed just to leave a drink when it's open, and when you come back you also take the drink, because most of the time a medication can be inserted in that drink, and when you drink it, you will be maybe in coma, and then you will be carried and be raped without your consent. Then learn to use your voice to yell out and to say no. You are not just supposed to keep quiet there and be raped because you are afraid. Yell. There is always help. That yelling can also bring help unto you. So rape can be prevented. We can also teach children how to protect themselves, and how to know people who are having intent of raping them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Bible tells us that there is nothing that is new under the face of the earth, or on the face of the earth. And Faith looked at some of the case studies from the Bible. If you could just remind us some of those.
When we look at the Bible is like a mirror, and it's also the source of healing. We are able to identify cases and family who has gone through rape, and how they recovered, how they handled the issue. Mainly those are men of God. And we looked at, the last session we looked at Jacob's daughter, Dinah. And it is, she was the only daughter. And she was, being the only daughter, looked at her like she was something very precious. And unfortunately, she was raped. And we looked at it, it was in Genesis 34. And we went through the event of how she was raped and she was disgraced. And when the matter reached to her father, the father kept his silence. And the brothers were so angry. And we looked at the event of how was never a beautiful story. It was never a love beautiful story. The brothers rose against the people who committed that act, and finally they killed the person who raped their daughter. We also look at Jacob, when he saw all this problem going through. Before the person who came and before the daughter, before killing that person who raped the daughter of Jacob, they came to Jacob and they asked him, we will pay dowry, keep quiet, we will, he is the prince of the land, he is a man of power. And Jacob looked as a parent that I cannot give my daughter to this kind of person who hurt her from the beginning. He have not started living with her, but have raped her. And because he is the prince of the land and he thinks that he is entitled to my daughter, he kept his silence. Now those were the brothers rose up against him and killed him. It looks like how Jacob was protecting his family. He was very wise. And in the midst of all tragedy, look at the parenting of Jacob. He moved from the area. He looked at the surrounding. He offered a sacrifice before God. And God told him, move from the area. The environment was not good for that girl. And that is one thing we look at Jacob's lifestyle as a man of God. We also looked at the story of David, the King David. when his daughter Tamar.
Before you continue, what I'm picking from that is also what we have talked about, power, environment,
Yes.
and surroundings.
Yes, yes. We also looked at David. We looked at David's daughter Tamar, and she was raped not by a stranger, by her brother. And that is a tragedy to King David's family line. And when he looked at it, Tamar used her voice to her brother, and she said, "No, do not disgrace me." She was prepared. She has followed all the protocol because her brother requested for her through her father. It was not something that she was doing in a secret with her brother. He went through his father and told her, "Can Tamar come and cook for me?" And there was all protocol. And her father said, "Okay, fine, go help your brother." And in the midst of that, Tamar used her voice to tell her brother, "No, do not do this thing to me." But he did not hear her, and he disgraced her. And after that tragedy happened, you can look at David as a parent. The only reaction David had was anger. He did not do anything about it. And for 2 years, that same person is partying, the same person was done nothing to. And Tamar was hurting in her brother's house, crying in her brother's house. And David assumed the situation, ignored the situation. And this is the problem now with parent. When something happened like that, you cannot ignore, you cannot just live in anger. You have to do something about that matter. And that's what brought hatred to his brother and caused the brother to kill the other brother. So we looked at David's way of handling the case. He is the judge of Israel, but he did not judge that matter rightfully in his own home. And what was a family problem became a nation problem. It brought war, it brought division. David has to be forced out of the throne because just that simple act of rape. That was the tragedy of that David had to lose two healthy sons who will be the heir of his kingdom just because he could not judge rightfully among his sons and daughters. And that's what we looked at. The act as a parent, as a protector. You are a protector of you are also the person who is supposed to, as a parent, to keep the peace between the brothers, between your sons, between your daughters. You are the peace keeper. And we looked at David's example in that part where he failed, and that's what has happened, that David had to lose 2 healthy young men.
I'll ask Winnie, do parents ignore?
So generally, I think the issue of socialization sometimes can bring issues. Like for example, a parent, maybe like the story she has shared about brothers and sisters, they may feel like when we report the matter, it is like we are exposing our family. When we try to deal with this, it is like they want to treat that matter as behind the curtain, or maybe the bedroom issues. Why? They don't want other people to know. And most of the time, it is really an issue when it comes to rape within the surrounding. Most of the time, as we said last time, for you to be raped, there must be a secure environment. And like she has mentioned about Tamar, there was a secure environment. Nobody who could think that Tamar could be raped by the brother, because the brother is supposed to protect them. Are you getting it? They are supposed to protect them. But now here comes the secure environment was taken advantage by the brother, and they raped the sister, because nobody who could think, even if they are the 2 of them, even nobody who could see the intent when the brother was saying, "Bring the food to me." So sometimes it happens, and we have a lot of issues. And the rape is a rape. Even if it has been caused by a father, even if it has been caused by a brother, it is supposed to be dealt with. And the victim is supposed to be helped to heal. Because if they are not going to heal, as you have mentioned there when you are doing your recap, we are going to have a lot of issues. Like they may be stressed, they may be even someone can take away their lives. They may also have some behaviors like drug abuse, because they want to forget what had been done to them by someone who is supposed to protect them. And as parents, we have to be very careful. We have also to protect our children from ourselves, from one another, and even from the environment. And most of the time, we say one of the things that the parents are supposed to do, it is psychoeducation. It's also a way of protecting their children in advance. psychoeducation, giving them education about the rape, how to protect themselves. Like for example, there is a way, like when we are talking about prevention, you can also carry like a paper or maybe even a spray that you can spray the eyes of the victim, the person who wants to commit whatever they want to commit to you, because sometimes they may come when you are not aware and you are not prepared. And most of the time, both men and women are raped, but most of the people who are raped are women. And when we are talking about masculinity, men are strong than women when it comes to that issue. So if they are strong, and you are having like a masala, if you throw them to their eyes, their strength is going to be finished, because now they are going to concentrate on their eyes. And as they are concentrating on their eyes, now you are going to run away. If you eat them on their private part as they try to struggle you, now they are not going to have strength. So the parents need to give psychoeducation to their kids. Let them know even how the rapist behave. If they are young ones, let them know that there is nobody who is supposed to touch their private parts. Because most of the time, it will start like that. You have a beautiful hips, and now they are going somewhere. So let the kids know, if we are talking about the young one. Empower them as a parent. Tell them even if it's your brother, even if it is your uncle, even if it is somebody you trust, even if it is your teacher, let them be empowered even if they are as young. When you are talking about the sexual messages, you give them as per their age. If they are those kids like the 3 years, the small ones, you can even teach them the song, these are my private parts, nobody who should touch them. So when they are empowered like that, when you try to come close or to touch them, they will protect them using the message that you told them. Mom say these are private parts, daddy say this. No, you cannot do this. I'll tell mama. So let them be empowered against anybody who want to take advantage of them. Then some things, most of the time there are some people who we can now watch even nude photos or videos with our children. Those things they arouse people sexually. Now imagine you are leaving your kids there, you have not empowered them not to watch some things, and then they are watching those things and they are watching the opposite sex. What else are you expecting? Sexual arousal. Then after that, rape can happen. So let them know, let us empower them. Let us not fear about talking about sexual issues with our young ones. Why? When we talk with them, we empower them. And our African culture most of the time don't give us that power, because we feel most of the things are behind the curtain. So how can we bring it bit by bit as parents? Like for example, you can be watching news or maybe a program that is going on. When they bring something that is related to sexual matters, that is the right point to start eating, because now it has like brought the space to you. Because if we don't teach our children, the media will teach them. If we don't teach our children, the peers will teach them, and they are going to tell them others are doing it, why not you? And maybe they may do it by forcing other people because they want to try it, because their peers also tried it. So let us empower our children, let us protect them, let us teach our children. Most of the time we are expecting the teachers to teach our kids everything. No, the burden of parenting will always remain with the parents, and our children are supposed to be all round. Let us teach them to protect themselves against sexual offenders, against assault, against being forced to rape, against their things being stolen by the rapist. Sure. Yes.
I also came across something on social media the other day, grooming of the prey by the predator.
So generally what usually happens, maybe before I explain that, I just go back to our parents. As parents, it is us to tell our kids they are beautiful. You see, it is us to affirm to our children. It is us as a parent to love our children unconditionally. So here comes the issue of the predator. You have not told that our children are beautiful. So the person who wants to rape them, what they usually do, they try to build confidence around the kids. They try to make them see that they care. You are looking beautiful. You are very outstanding. You are like this. Now, these things should have been taught by the parents. So when you are telling the kids, it is not something that is new. So these ones, they are like, we usually say from our mother tongue, we usually say the person who wants to kill a chicken doesn't run after it, but they usually throw some maize, and they will throw the maize very far, then they will throw near, and then after that they just catch the chicken and kill it. So the same thing, it's whatever you are talking about, how the person who, the predator, how they create the environment slowly. They show the children that they love them. They want to trust them. Like for example, even for the mature people, when we are talking about the date rape, that someone you are going to date with, it's someone you trust and you don't fear them. And maybe also they have been creating that trust which is fake. To you, you think it is trust, but to them, they want to rape you. So the predator is preparing the environment. They are grooming you up. They are, maybe you are just giving someone to go to swimming with your children. You think they are young. They start grooming them. They start even touching their private part without your knowledge. And some will do it even at the deep sea. And they are teaching them to swim. And because now that is like a threat, we said you are coerced. So the kids will fear because they may think if I refuse, this person is going to drown me. So let's be careful as parents. There are a lot of consequences that are brought by rape, like the ones you mentioned and we discussed on the previous program, and some effects they are long lasting. They may even affect the life of the young one. And some people, even when they are raped, they will shy away from rape, and others will become aggressive and they will also rape. That's why we said when it comes to sexual matters, it is the way it has been introduced to your life. It is the way things have been socialized. Let us not be captured by our culture, because our culture generally doesn't talk about such things happening openly, but these things are happening. Remember when we said that rape is an emerging issue, an issue that needs attention, even scientifically attention, and which is not given the attention that it is needed. So these things are happening. Let's be careful. Let us know that the people most of the time who rape our kids, they are the people who we think we trust. They are the people who have created a trustworthy environment to the kids. They are the people who are making our kids to feel that they are good, they are outstanding. They are people who are affirming our kids. That is our work as parents. Let us show our children, tell them they are beautiful. Let us tell them that they matter. Let us tell them how people behave when they want to take advantage of them and they are secure. So psychosocial support. Let us give them the knowledge. Let us show them the love. Most of the time kids are also looking for love and they think uncle loves me. So uncle is after other things and you are not aware. So let's be very careful. Yeah.
So parents and guardians.
Parents, guardian.
The ball is on your court.
The ball is on our court.